March 1942. The Pacific Ocean, once a blue paradise, had turned into the world's largest battlefield. While Europe's war stole the headlines, the Pacific became a place of unimaginable brutality, where American and Allied soldiers fought inch by inch, tree by tree, reef by reef. This is the story the world often forgets. The story of the most brutal, savage, unforgiving island battles of World War II. Welcome to Forgotten Frontline, the Pacific's most brutal island fights. World War II in the Pacific wasn't a war of cities or borders. It was a war of coral reefs, volcanic jungles, razor-sharp cliffs, and diseases deadlier than bullets. From Guadalcanal, to Tarawa, to Peleliu, to Iwo Jima. The Pacific War produced some of the most heroic, horrific, and costly encounters the U.S. military had ever faced. Today, we dive deep into the hidden stories, the forgotten heroes, and the terrifying conditions that defined the Pacific's deadliest island battles. Number 1. Guadalcanal, the first turning point. The year was 1942. After Pearl Harbor, Japan dominated the Pacific, expanding rapidly. But everything changed on the island of Guadalcanal. The jungle of death. U.S. Marines landed expecting resistance, but what they encountered was far worse. Swarms of mosquitoes. Torrential rain. Malaria that wiped out entire units. Endless waves of Japanese night assaults. The Japanese called it the Island of Death. American Marines began calling it something else, hell with a pretty shoreline. The battle for Henderson Field. The airstrip at the island's center became the most important piece of land in the Pacific. For 6 months, U.S. Marines fought. In the dark. With no reinforcements. With limited food. Outnumbered and surrounded. Yet they held. Their defense marked Japan's first major defeat and turned the tide of the Pacific War. Guadalcanal taught the world. The Pacific would not be won easily. Number 2. Tarawa, the 76-hour bloodbath. Tarawa, a tiny island barely 3 miles long, yet it produced one of the shortest and deadliest fights in U.S. Marine Corps history. The impossible landing. Marines expected an easy victory. Instead, they found a coral reef blocking landing craft. Machine gun nests covering every inch of beach. Zero cover on the sand. Waves of accurate Japanese fire. Hundreds of Marines drowned or were cut down before even making it ashore. 76 hours of hell. Once on the island, the fight became pure brutality, flamethrowers, grenades, bayonets, hand-to-hand combat. The Japanese commander had vowed. 1,000,000 men cannot take Tarawa in 100 years. The Marines proved him wrong, in just 76 hours. But the cost was devastating. Tarawa shocked the American public and forced the U.S. military to rethink amphibious warfare forever. Number 3. Peleliu. The forgotten slaughter. Few Americans today know the name Peleliu, yet it remains one of the bloodiest battles in Marine Corps history. The island no one remembers, but no veteran forgets. A new Japanese strategy. Unlike previous battles, Japanese forces changed tactics. No more suicidal charges. Instead, they dug into tunnels, caves, and bunkers across a mountain range made of jagged coral ridges. This created a fortress of stone and steel. The Marines expected 3 days. The battle took 73 days. Men fought on ridges so sharp they sliced boots open. Temperatures reached 115 degrees Fahrenheit 46 degrees Celsius. Water ran out. Marines collapsed from heat stroke next to the enemy they were still fighting. Veterans would later say, Peleliu was the closest thing to hell on earth. Number 4. Iwo Jima, the Mountain of Fire. If one island defines the Pacific War, it's Iwo Jima. The Black Sands of Doom. As Marines stepped onto the volcanic beaches, they instantly sank into the soft ash. Japanese artillery opened up. Machine guns cut down entire waves. But strangely, the island seemed empty. The trap. Japan had created a massive underground city beneath Iwo Jima. Miles of tunnels. Hidden bunkers. Artillery that could fire, disappear, and reappear at will. Marines were fighting shadows, the enemy was everywhere, and nowhere. Raising the flag. After days of brutal fighting, Marines reached the top of Mount Suribachi. The iconic flag raising symbolized America's determination. But the battle was far from over. Iwo Jima took 36 days, cost more than 26,000 American casualties, and remains one of the Marine Corps' most defining moments. Number 5. Okinawa, the last and deadliest. The final major battle of the Pacific was also the most devastating, Okinawa. A civilian's nightmare. Unlike earlier battles, Okinawa was home to more than 300,000 civilians. They were trapped between American fire, Japanese defenses, and propaganda that convinced many to fear the Americans more than death. Kamikaze Fury. Japan launched the largest kamikaze campaign of the war. Ships were hit. Hospitals destroyed. Tens of thousands killed. Okinawa became known as the Typhoon of Steel. The human cost. The U.S. realized one terrible truth. If invading Japan was this bloody, the war needed another solution. That solution would arrive in August 1945. The Pacific wasn't a war of large cities, it was a war of small islands that demanded unimaginable sacrifice. More than 100,000 Americans died. More than 300,000 Japanese soldiers died. Millions of civilians were caught in the crossfire. These island battles, forgotten by many, shaped the course of history. And the men who fought there earned their place as some of the toughest warriors the world has ever seen. This is their legacy. This is the forgotten frontline.